Water pipes burst. In this video, we're going to talk about what to do about it and what you can do to avoid it, and we're going to do that right now. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the Expert Plumber. I've been plumbing over 38 years, and I have every master endorsement in the state of Texas. On this channel, I'm teaching you everything you need to know about plumbing. If you haven't been here before, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Why do pipes burst? Water expands and freezes, and winter weather is what makes that happen. When temperatures get down below freezing and stay that way, what happens is the water line inside the pipe, since it's not moving and it stays below freezing for a certain amount of time, it actually freezes. Now, frozen pipes are bad, but when they thaw, the thawing out of the pipes is actually what creates the plumbing issues. When water freezes, it expands. And what that does, that creates a pressure on copper pipes that actually makes the copper pipe split or burst. That's when you run into the problems, because it's not just the fact that the pipes froze or the water froze inside of it, it's that burst, and if nobody's there to stop it, that water just is going to go everywhere. First of all, you've got to identify the frozen pipes. So you've got to find out what pipe is frozen in order to thaw it out. So if you just have water not coming to one particular faucet or fixture, that actually lets you know that that's where that is. And that line's kind of easier to identify. Normally when a line freezes, it's on the exterior wall of a house. It's normally on the north side of the house, at least down here in Texas, because that side gets colder. But you need to identify what line it is in order to figure out if you're going to be able to thaw it out or not. So you've just got water not running to a toilet, and how would you know? So you go to flush it and it doesn't refill. Now, that could be a problem. Or say you get in to take a shower and your water won't run. There's a lot of different things that can happen, but you've got to figure out what line that it is. And you're either not going to have flow to it, or you're not going to be able to flush it, or something's going to happen. When you figure out what water pipe is frozen, then you'll know whether this is something you think you can fix, or if it's something you may want to call a plumbing company to take care of. If you've had this problem before, please leave a comment down below and let us know. Number one, were you able to thaw it out? Number two, did you fix it, or did you have a plumber come out and take care of that for you? Pipe insulation is great, and we recommend putting it on all the pipes, but it doesn't always work in very cold, freezing temperatures. So the problem is, just because your lines are insulated doesn't mean they're not going to freeze. So there's certain things that you can do in order to help keep them from freezing. And the thing to remember is that prevention for pipe freezing is probably your best investment in your plumbing system. To help keep lines from freezing, say you've got an exterior wall and you've got a kitchen sink on it, and it's on the north side of your house. And I'm speaking from Texas, but anywhere, if you've got plumbing on an exterior wall, you need to think about what can you do. So if I had a kitchen sink on the north side of the wall, what I would do is probably open up my cabinet at night, or open up my cabinet when it's going to be down below temperatures, and maybe put a space heater in that room, or just maybe even a fan to circulate the warm air up under it. Believe it or not, that little bit might be the difference as to whether your pipes freeze or not. So remember, investing in your plumbing system beforehand may lead to you not having a problem later. So that's going to be really good. So when it comes time to thaw it, first of all, you want to turn the water off. Now, if you can turn off that individual line, that's great. If you can't, you need to turn off the water to the entire house. I have a video talking about that, and if you want to go watch it and then come back here, that's great. I teach you how to turn the water off at your water main, which I know in some states they don't want you into the valve box. Or if you've got a valve box right in your front yard, right up by your house, I've got a video for that. And those of y'all that have basements, you've probably got a valve in your basement where you can go down there real quick, turn the water off, and you don't have to worry about it. So the next thing I tell people to do is, look, open any faucets. So if you've turned off the water to your house and you know you've got a shower valve that's frozen, go ahead and turn that water on, because when that ice thaws, you want the pressure to be able to go somewhere. And if you've got that valve closed, it's not going to be able to go anywhere. And remember, the thawing is what actually causes the pipe to bust. If you do have a rupture or a burst, you may at that point want to call a plumber. I understand that. Call a plumber and make sure you know what plumber you're going to call. If you're waiting till right now to watch this video and you realize you need a plumber right now, be very careful in hiring your plumber. I always recommend to people, know who your plumber is before you ever have an emergency. To thaw a pipe out, say you do have it under a cabinet. Again, like earlier, I would say open the doors, put either a space heater, put a hair dryer, a heat lamp, anything like that in there. And if you didn't do this before it froze and you're waiting till after, you can still put these things in to help warm up the area. The warmer you can get the area, the better it's going to be, because you're trying to thaw that pipe now. But don't use anything with an open flame. If you've got a propane torch or a B tank, anything at all like that, don't use that. Now, they do make thawing machines. Now, they're very expensive, but you know, if I lived up north and had lines that possibly froze often, that'd be something that I'd think about. But they also make a heat tape. And what it is, it's almost like an extension cord. It's a vinyl coated electrical heating element that you actually plug into the wall and it heats up. But remember, do not use an open flame. If you have a pipe busted at this point, you may want to call a plumber unless you're going to try to fix it yourself. And at that point, I recommend calling a licensed plumber to make sure that that's what you get out to make your plumbing repair. Guys, hopefully you've thought about this beforehand and you've actually done the preventive maintenance, meaning you've opened the cabinets, you've got heat flowing through them. If it's really cold, you may even want to turn on the faucet and let it drip prior to freezing temperatures. And just remember, for water conservation purposes, put a bucket in there, catch as much of it as you can. Well, at least that way you can water plants. Or remember, as soon as the temperature starts coming back up, to shut that off. You may waste a little water and it may cost you a little bit more money, but you're going to at least not have a frozen pipe. The problem with the frozen pipe and when it thaws out and busting, now you've got repairs to make either in your sheetrock ceiling, your walls. I've actually gone in houses where we actually had to cut the siding off the side of the house in order to get in the wall and make the repair. Another thing to remember too is if you have a frostproof hooked up, guys, make sure you disconnect the hose. And here's why. The frostproof can freeze and split on the inside. Now remember, you've got the valve turned off, so it's just the water held in the frostproof itself, which, could be 9 to 12 inches long, somewhere around in there. Or I say 6 to 12 inches long. If that freezes and busts in the wintertime without the water on, when you go in the summertime to hook a hose up to that and you go to turn that water on and say you've got a sprayer on the end, that sprayer, if it's not on, when you turn the water on, there's nowhere for that water to go. It's going to come out that bust and it's going to come out full blast. You'd be surprised how many calls we get at the beginning of summer when somebody's going out to clean off their pool deck, wash their car, their motorcycle, something like that. And they call us and say, oh my gosh, I've got water coming out of my wall and I have no idea why. And you'll notice it coming out down around the brick ledge or under your siding or whatever it is that you've got. Guys, when it comes to frozen pipes, these are the things that if you think about it in advance, you can normally avoid those problems. You can normally take care of these problems, and it's things that you don't have to worry about. If you've ever had any problems or you've had a frozen pipe that turned into a bust and it's something you had to fix, please leave a comment down below and let us know. And if you hadn't done so yet, please subscribe and ring the bell. That way you don't miss out on anything. My name's Roger Wakefield with Texas Green Plumbing, saving you money one drop at a time.